Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about assembling the clarinet and getting warmed up and kind of what all that means. But first, let's just get straight into and putting the clarinet together. So I know everyone knows how to do it, but just as a review, a good thing to use if the pieces don't go together very easily is cork grease. And how we're going to do this is we get our clarinet, and with the cork we can put a little bit of grease on there and then rub it in. Or the other way I like to do it, you can actually put your thumb just on the grease, and you only need a little bit, and rub it in all the way around the cork. And then we're going to do the same thing with the rest of the clarinet. So of course the upper joint has 2 corks, so we're going to do the same thing with this one. Just get a little bit of grease on there, or maybe a little more if it's extra hard to get on. And then the last piece is going to be the mouthpiece. And put some grease on that. And I forgot, while we are going to put our clarinet together, it's a good idea to have our reed a little wet. So we're going to want to put this in our mouth, and having a wet reed helps with us not squeaking. So that's why that's important. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm not going to put this in my mouth right now because I still want to be able to talk to you. So, but we can do that. So to put it together, it doesn't really matter how we do it, but I like to start with the bell and our lower joint, which has just 1 cork. And now as you put grease on it, it should go on pretty easily. You can like twist it on or put it underneath, it doesn't really matter. And next we're gonna go to our upper joint, and we have to make sure that this upper lever sits right on top of this lower lever. And to do that, we can put it on, and we have to make sure that they are perfectly aligned, because otherwise we're gonna have some problems once we get to our right hand keys. Then next is the barrel, and this goes on. If there's a little bit of space, that's okay. If you can see that. And then of course our mouthpiece. And then our reed. And so the next part is a little tricky, but it's very important. If we don't do it right, it's going to be hard to play the clarinet. So a safe way to do it is to put our ligature on first, and then we're going to take our reed, and we're going to slide it underneath. That way you can't damage the tip of the reed. And from here, we have to make sure that, well, number one, the ligature has got to be nice and loose. I see a lot of students who they don't want to loosen the screws too much, so the ligature sits like pretty high on the reed like that. And actually you can loosen the screws a lot, and it's supposed to sit pretty low on the reed. And what I mean is there is this line on a reed usually, and the ligature should sit beneath that. And actually my mouthpiece even has this line over here showing me how far the ligature is supposed to be, at least. So that's that. And then with the reed, it needs to be even with the tip of the mouthpiece, like this. And it's hard to see from the front. I like to look at it from the side. So get it nice and even. Hope you can see that. A little blurry. And then make sure it's even on the front of the mouthpiece, and then just tighten up our ligature, and we should be good to go. And that's how we do that. So when we're going to warm up, now's a good time to make sure we're doing all of the proper habits to set us up for a successful playing session and playing clarinet well, and everything's working. So that, of course, that starts with assembling our clarinet properly. And the next thing we want to make sure we're doing is we're sitting at the front of our chair and sitting up nice and tall. And then we're going to keep our chin up nice and tall and make sure our bottom lip is rolled in, our top teeth on the mouthpiece, all the usual things. But it's really important we do this first thing, because it sets us up for a successful practice session for the rest of the day, really. Okay, so for the actual warm-up, a good place to start on clarinet is maybe starting with G, which is no fingers, and then we're going to work our way down to F, and then E, D, and C. So with those 5 notes, let's go and play those with 4 beats per note. 1, 2, 3. might notice when I play, the tone is very even, and that's a very important part about playing an instrument. Is and especially the first thing we play. And I know everyone is capable of doing that, so let's make sure we are doing that from the very beginning. But okay, let's go ahead and continue the warm-up together now. Let's start with C, and we're gonna go all the way up to G and back down to C, and let's play each note for 4 beats this first time. 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's do the same thing, but let's play each note for 2 beats now. 1, 2, ready, play. Let's do it one last time. Let's play each note for 1 beat. And then the last thing we're going to do for the warm-up is going to make sure that we're using our tongue. You might have noticed that I was tonguing some notes, and if you were, that's great. If not, that's okay too. I think for the long tone part of it, it's really important we just have that even tone that I was talking about earlier. But for tonguing, we also want to make sure our tongue is even. And a good way to practice this is let's just, or warm up, is let's go ahead and play those same 5 notes. Let's play them nice and slow, making sure we are tonguing each one 4 times. 1, 2, 3. And I think that's it for today. Hope you learned something, and looking forward to next time. Bye.